Oh man, what is up, guys? Happy Monday. Welcome to another edition of Behind the Booth. Step to this side. Hope you guys are having a good day. Had to make sure everything is testing well, yada I mean. Give me 1 second, let me try some. All right, there we go. Yes, it is another edition of Behind the Booth. I go by the name of Spin Griffey. Hope you guys had a good weekend. We're going to start today's show off recapping the weekend. I had a pretty good weekend, man. We did, what, 4 gigs this weekend? 3 Pels games? Five. We had a Pels game Thursday. We had a Pels game Friday. We had a Pels game yesterday. Um, and I did the HBCU Legacy Bowl step show on Saturday. So shout out to them, the Sugar Bowl people, for inviting me out, man. It was a great time. Shout out all of the Greek organizations that came through. We got a really good show for y'all today, man. We're gonna discuss one of the topics because it came up via my gig Friday, but we're gonna kick things off with this. I'm sure you guys know what this is. It is a USB. And if you're like me, you've been in the game long enough, you know that these type of things happen when artists come up to you in the middle of your set and they ask you, "Can you play my song right now?" It's a trial as old as time, man. It just happens all of the time. So I'm going to tell you what I do when artists are asking you to play their song during your set, what the pros and the cons are. I'm going to let you know. I don't know if there are too many pros. One of the bigger things to me, I guess, is that you build that relationship with this artist. But I personally am not a fan of playing artist songs in the spot in the middle of my set for a variety of reasons. One of the biggest is usually that these artists come and they wait until like peak hour set. So, we're talking 12, 1 a.m., talking about they have the hottest song in the city and it'll make the crowd go crazy. And yeah, sure, Jan, but nobody might know who you are. And I personally do not like playing songs from artists that I have never heard of. Did my camera freeze? Ah, it looks like the camera froze. Hold on. Huh. All right. Seems like it's working again. So, like I was saying, I personally am not a fan of playing the songs for artists that I've never heard of right there live in the mix. Because again, you've never heard the song, you might not know if it sounds good, if it's mixed well, if it's gonna keep the energy up that you're building in your set. So that's why personally I'm not a fan of doing that. So what I usually do is tell the artist that they can go ahead and email me the song and I'll give it a listen later. And if it's cool, I'll go ahead and throw it in my set in the future. You'd be surprised how often that doesn't work. Sad, really. Now, if you do choose to play the artist's song during your set, I highly recommend that you always do it at the beginning of your set. I'm personally a fan of like songs that people aren't familiar with. The best time to do it is that opening time because that's when you can feel it out, see how the song is, how it fits into your set already, man. So I definitely recommend playing the song at the beginning of your sets so you can get a feel for how the song is and how you wanted to go and hold on go through into your sets for the evening, man. I don't think it's like a bad thing to want to you know, play these songs, but I think you should definitely do your due diligence. And I think one of the things that it always can and should lead to is these artists building relationships with you as a DJ. They should be able to email you their new song, and you're able to go ahead and play it or listen to it and give critiques. And I think that's one of the things that have been missing, is that artists don't want to come out and don't want to come out and build these relationships with their DJs to try and get some traction in the streets. You can't have the hottest song in the streets if nobody knows it, if the DJ doesn't know it. I know a lot of the songs, especially in New Orleans, you know, even though it's bounce heavy, a lot of the songs are songs that I've heard or people have requested it multiple times in a night, and I've been like, oh, well, I've never heard that, so let me go and see what that is. So it's definitely important for you as a DJ. Well, it's definitely important for the artist to build that relationship with a DJ so they can get their songs played, man. So, that's the end of topic number one, which is artists asking you to play their song during the set. Now we're going to move on to something that happened to me this weekend. So Friday I was playing at Chow for Spotlight Fridays. That's my Friday gig. And I played Young Dolph Preach. But I always play the remix because I just play the remix. There's always the version with Rick Ross and Jeezy. So the song comes in, and I guess where it's normally supposed to start with Dolph, it goes right back into Ross talking about da-da-da, we back again, or look back again. So there was a section to my right, and all of them looked at me in disbelief because they couldn't believe that I was playing the remix of Young Dolph Preach. And it made me wonder, are there any songs that you have to play differently in different regions? So I took to the DJs Only Discord, and that's where I was informed that, if you're in Memphis, you just play the dope version. You never play the remix. They never, ever, ever play the remix. And somebody else who was in there mentioned that they were at a gig Friday night as well in Houston, Houston. And somebody went out of their way and they played the OG Wipe Me Down without Boosie and Webby, which is crazy because I don't even know if I have that song. I can't even tell you the last time I've played that song, if I do have it. And I don't even know if anybody listens to Wipe Me Down for Fox's verse. I mean, I'm sure they do, because I'm sure it was a bathroom break song for me at one point. It's crazy to me to realize that you have to play certain songs or certain versions of songs or certain verses of those songs depending on where you are. And so I should have did this earlier, but I can't really think of any other songs for me to where I can't play that particular version of it. And I'm sure it's out there, but and I'm sure it's definitely heavy in these other cities. Like if you go to Atlanta, you can't play certain versions of certain songs. Like they probably don't play the They Know remix. Well, they might, because that's an Atlanta song, but I know traditionally it's just always the Shout It Low They Know remix. So I thought that was very interesting, man, and it was definitely something for everybody to watch out for, to know that you can't play every version of every song for every function. But that's the first time that I've had somebody actually explicitly tell me that they didn't want to hear the Ross version on that. So we're gonna sit down and think of some. Wait, with the intro, what? Too ready? Wipe Me Down or Preach? Because I think I got. Well, I have the remixes for both of those, man. So I probably need to get the originals. But I ain't never really just sat there and think that nobody wanted to hear the Ross remix. I'm trying to think of some other songs where it's just certain versions of it that you don't play, and it's probably escaping me right now. I know it's a lot of stuff, like when you start getting into like regional specifics, so maybe the song that actually blew up instead of the one that blew up in the city. Oh, all right, yeah. Send me that Wipe Me Down joint. Send me that Wipe Me Down joint. Let's move to our third topic. This is gonna be a short show today. I love that for me. Nah, our third and final topic is playing for yourself versus playing for the crowd. And I think this is a super big one. There was a post that was going around last week, and it's a familiar conversation where people say, they can't be DJs because they would just be wanting to play what they want to hear all night. And I think part of a DJ is being able to do that, but you need to be able to play for the crowd as well. And so I want to ask you guys in the comments, do you play for yourself or do you play for the crowd? I can tell you that me personally, I do both, especially like that first hour, that opening set. And I'd probably say the last 45 minutes, an hour of my set, like those are for me, especially that first hour. I'm testing out new joints. Maybe I just heard a song that I want to hear again in the club, or I haven't played it in so long, and I just want to hear it for me. So I definitely use my opening sets to go ahead and sit there and just play what I want to hear, vibe to how I want to vibe. Now it's not gonna be maybe nothing too crazy depending on how I'm feeling that day, but I definitely think that helps you as a DJ, especially at some of these club spots and when you're doing like your weekly residencies at bars and lounges. One of the things I always tell people is that being a DJ, one of the things that you always want to do and take into consideration is that there are only, if you go by the Billboard, there are only like 40 hits at one time. So everybody's going to be playing the hits. The telltale sign of you as a DJ, in my opinion, is asking what it is that makes, what can you fill those gaps with? What are you playing that's different? And I think that leads to a lot of things. It leads to you being a better DJ. It leads to you not being replaceable as a DJ, because I think one of the things that people do is they think by being able to play it safe with their song selection, if they're playing what everybody else is playing, then they'll be good. But the problem with that is that if you're playing the same songs everybody else is playing, say you go up to the bar manager or the whoever runs the bar, whoever books, and you be like, man, I see the bar's doing this and it's crazy, and I want to make, see about getting an increase in my pay. Well, if you're not out there doing anything like special or different, like it's one of those things that you can just be changed with another DJ. And if all you're doing is playing nothing but the hits, nothing but the hits, nothing but the motherfucking hits, then it doesn't really differentiate you from any other DJ because you guys are playing some of the same sets. So I think it's important to play for yourself and the crowd at the same time. Like even sometimes during peak hours, yeah, there are the hits that you want to jump to, and you know what, Dreams and Nightmares will be phenomenal to play right here, or Ski Yee or Rich Baby Daddy. But there are different ways that you personally can bring it in that nobody else will be able to. But if you're out here doing the same cookie cutter formula as somebody else, it's not really making you stand out. Instead of like somebody being like, I can't wait to go see DJ Spin Griffey tonight, it's just be like, oh, I'm going to the spot and the DJ will be there. But, it's nothing differentiating you and making you stand out or be special. So when it comes to playing for yourself versus the crowd, I have a couple tips and suggestions and things that I do personally. One of the big ones, the first ones are requests. I am like I know DJs don't like requests. Some do like requests. I'm kind of in the middle. I feel like, a request here or there is fine, but then it turns into sometimes, like, again, this is what happened Friday. I let one request go, and then that one request turned into, like, them trying to show me their phone for, like, 5 more songs. And it's like, yo, I'm just getting started. I got to get in the mix. Now, sometimes with requests, you always get the old, me and my friends are leaving, or can you play this song? We just got here, da-da-da stuff. Now, for me with a request, barring like it's just a phenomenal request or something I wouldn't have thought of, I would try and tuck it and try and get to it in my own particular way in maybe the next 10, 15 minutes. But I think taking a request to just take the request and get it over with, depending on how your set is and the flow of where you are, I don't think it makes a lot of sense. And I think sometimes with requests, they get a little crazy because I know when I used to play it then, one of the things is always it'd be like chicks shaking down everywhere. And it'd be a bunch of dudes coming up being like, man, we don't want to hear this. Can you go ahead and put on some Future? Because they wanted to basically do the same thing with their homies, just jump up and down in a circle. That's not how the dance floor works, for me anyway. So you got to take the requests with a grain of salt. I think they're good. They can help you sometimes and help you differentiate yourself, or have you thinking about things that maybe you weren't thinking of when it comes to those requests. So it's tuck them. Use that little prepare tab in your Serato. If you don't know, the prepare tab in Serato is basically allowing you to scroll through your library. Maybe you see a song that you want to play, but it doesn't fit where you are in your set right now. So just throw it in that prepare tab, and you can kind of go back to it and be like, oh, okay, I remember this. So that's one way to handle requests as well. Just throw it in the prepare tab to be like, all right, figure out a way to get there. Too ready with that amen, man. So when to do it, playing for yourself versus the crowd. Like I said, traditionally I do it in the first hour and maybe that last hour. I think the last hour is more so the bigger hits, or because I usually am with R&B, so it's playing for me, but it's still playing the songs that people know. I'm not gonna go too super far left and play like um, Moving Mountains or something, even though that is my jam. Moving Mountains or something at my set if it doesn't connect with the crowd. So I think that's one of the big things too, especially when you're taking risk and playing for yourself. Next is a trigger word. Man, you gotta do it for you versus playing for somebody else. Like I said, that first hour, I think it's playing for me. It's wanting to play newer songs. Um, and it's me wanting to break songs. I think going back even to the original topic of artists asking you to play their song during your set, I feel like that first hour is one of the best ways to break new music that's probably not from an established artist. I think one of the things is that even with the flow of music and how much comes out, I don't think that you can take a song that you've heard in that day and immediately drop it into the peak of your set, because a lot of people don't know it unless you're talking about like a Beyonce or something. And even then, it's probably better to like ease that in. Like, I wouldn't come out and play what was it, 16 Texas Hold'em, like right out the gate the day it dropped. It's gonna take some time, and we'll discuss that on a later show on how long to keep a song in rotation. Um, and again, how to do it traditionally, like how I play for myself, unless it's like those super hits that people are familiar with, I might just throw something in there to throw over like a curveball and make sure they're paying attention. Or I might do it after I come down, like bring them on the high of a set. And once I'm starting back over to build the energy back in the room, I might play something that I want to hear, but it still fits into the night. And it allows them to be like, oh, what is this? But you can still start building your set back up as you get higher. Now, one of the other things, and I think this is most important, is that it varies depending on the type of gig you are doing. So I say that to say, if you're doing, traditionally like club gigs, or things of that nature, you're usually playing for the people. You're usually playing to force them to go to the bar to drink. Side note, I hate when MCs or anybody in general says, the more you drink, the better I sound. I think that you know, I think that takes away from who you are as a DJ, and it devalues you, and makes it sound like you don't know what you're doing when somebody says the more you drink, the better I sound. That's just a sidebar. But I was saying that depending on the type of gig, that gives you more freedom in the type of music that you can play and who you're playing for. I know traditionally, even with my corporate events, I'm usually like relegated to background music for the most part. So that gives you an opportunity to kind of play more so stuff you want to hear. So, maybe you can't get that Frank Ocean off at a club set or gig, but now is the perfect time to play like Strawberry Swing or what's the other song? Uh, it's like 80 BPM and it's escaping me right now. Swim Good. Oh my God, I couldn't believe I can't think of that. So yeah, it's very important to know that you can get those things off depending on the type of gig you're at. Like if you're at a brunch, you can get more of what you want to hear off because it's that type of vibe, that type of crowd, or it's just really background ambient noise compared to you being the main show at a club or bar or lounge. So yeah, corporate gigs like brunches and stuff give you a little bit more freedom. I think one of the other things is also the more you perform, if you have a residency, that gives you a little bit more creative license when it comes to your set, as opposed to you're booked here once and you want to come back and play again. Because if you're booked once or a one off and you want to come back and play again, then that means that you're trying your best to play for the bar for them to see that you're driving money to the bar, as opposed to, well, I'm going to be here next week regardless. So I think once you get a full residency, that takes away some of the pressures of having to stick into a box and playing the same 40 songs, man. So definitely keep that in mind, that there is a time and place. And, like, my Twitch stream is a great time to play stuff I wouldn't play or I can't play anywhere else. So that's when I do that as well. So yeah, and definitely just practice as much as you can, because then you'll find more creative ways to jump into like these songs and things of that nature. I think that's it. I had another topic, which was, I guess, going to deal with retirement. Um, and as I get older, I would be thinking about the next phase of DJing, and I don't know if you ever fully retire from DJing per se, because I think it's always in you. Now, you might age out of the type of gigs you want to do or the type of gigs you are doing, but I definitely think that music and DJing in general, until your wrist and maybe the arthritis come in, it's one of those things that you always going to be a part of. But I think we'll save that for another show. I definitely thought I put this. I definitely did put this picture in here. Don't know where it is. Okay, let's take that off. Put that on. All right, I don't know where it is, but I think one of the things. Oh, so we got a bunch of dope things happening this week. Tomorrow, of course, is our monthly link up over there at the New Orleans Jazz Market, 6 till 10 p.m. Tell all your DJ friends, your producer friends. This is even a good time for your artist friends to come through and network and meet a lot of the DJs. This is actually a good time to, probably come through, get a song played for all the DJs to hear it. That is going down tomorrow at the New Orleans Jazz Market, 6 until 10 p.m. I had the whole flyer, but I guess I didn't put it in the OBS, man. So that is what is going on. I want you guys to be on the lookout. Make sure you follow us. We're in the Discord. I'm going to be putting that into our link in our bio today. And make sure you follow and subscribe on our YouTube page. We're definitely going to be putting more stuff up on there. And as usual, though, I guess I organize like the Joe's Blend, but the Joe's Blend is about the community and building you guys up. So any ideas, thoughts, comments, concerns, things that you want to see us do, and us is a reflection of you guys, please don't hesitate to ask and let me know. We're definitely going to be sitting here trying to bring the... Oh, so we're trying to bring the monthly, not the monthlies. Okay, let me slow down. So now, since we've done the Joe's Blend link ups, the original part of when we were doing them quarterly was to bring everybody together in mass, to get together, exchange music, have the featured performers. If you notice, the link ups don't really have the performers anymore. So we're hoping by at least the summer, we're able to get that aspect back to where we're going to have 4 DJs doing their sets, ideally in front of a crowd, to show people what it is that you really play. And that goes back into playing for yourself versus playing for the crowd. So definitely be on the lookout for that. We're here every Monday, 10 a.m. This might be too early. I might start sliding this in the afternoon. We'll take a poll, see how that goes. And again, once today we covered artists asking you to play their song during your sets, the pros, the con, DJ Too Ready Dave. Pros and cons, the best way to play it, when to play it, and why those artists need to reach out and build relationships with you for playing their songs. We talked about playing different versions of songs in different places, how remixes don't pop off everywhere. Sometimes, and getting back in it, I don't know if you ever played like a bounce remix, or you played a regular song and it didn't work, so you had to play the bounce remix. I want to say it was like a hello or something, and I realized, that beat does affect a lot of things. And finally, we discussed playing for yourself versus playing for the crowd and the different ways that you can handle that, when to do it, how to do it, what gigs to do it at. Hey, I got to 27 minutes. I was just hoping to make it to 30, man. Appreciate all of y'all for tuning in. We here next Monday. I'm definitely going to start, hopefully, trying to get some interviews going, get this popping. Appreciate all of y'all. If you didn't catch it live, once again, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@JoceBlend, JoceBlend. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. Bringing Joseph Blend Radio back. I hope you guys have a great week. Looking forward to seeing all of y'all tomorrow. New Orleans Jazz Market, February link up, 6 till 10 p.m. Make sure you bring your laptops, bring your hard drives, your thumb drives. We in there exchanging, man. Y'all have a great day. Kill your gigs this week. And I'll let y'all in a week. Peace. Oh, wait, no. There we go.